So when I mentioned my parents, and there have been others that have inspired me, like Constance Baker Motley from New York, who was the first woman of color to ever serve on a district court. I think about Harriet Tubman and all our historic figures. And when I look at their lives, to me, there are 5 things that they all seem to believe in. First, they dream big. So my first piece of advice is to dream big. Because if you dream little dreams, you may get those little dreams fulfilled, but they may not be what you really want in life. So I believe in dreaming big, because if we don't have those dreams, nothing happens. Second, working hard. Hard work is really important. Working hard and smart, and not wasting a lot of energy on a door that's never gonna move, knowing when it's time to move on. And then in that work, working at the highest level. So whatever it is that you're doing, let's say you're an administrative assistant, let's say you're someone who's even a cleaning person. All those jobs have great dignity, and it's the way in which you do those jobs that people notice. Working hard matters. The third thing I would say is never give up. Never give up. Because if you give up and you throw in the towel, you'll never achieve that dream. So you have to find the wherewithal to keep going. And that's why, to me, the ancestors and the people in your life, like I said, not all of us are fortunate enough to have a family like I had. But there hopefully is someone in your life, someone you work with, someone at church, someone that sees what your potential is. And so you want to have them help you and to never give up. The fourth thing I would say is standing up. And this whole issue of standing up for yourself now. So the question is, if you feel like, well, I don't have any resources, Judge, it's pretty easy for you to say, then you have to build alliances. You have to get involved in organizations that support women, organizations that center around whatever your focus is. And then get in those organizations, you get a lot of ideas. Then when you get in those organizations, try to get in leadership positions, because people notice you. Because see, you never know who's watching. Like, I never knew the dean was looking at me until he brought me into his office and said, the chief judge of the 7th Circuit is looking for a law clerk. And he would love it if he could find a black woman. And I thought about you. I never knew the dean had been paying any attention to me. I had spoken to the dean 2 or 3 times during the course of my law school career. But when you get involved in an organization, in an environment, your church, the school, whatever it is, your job, and you do your best, and you volunteer to do things, people notice you. And it's those people, many of whom, at least in my early career, nobody looked like me. And so that's the other thing. Those mentors you have can come in any color and any size. And so nurture those relationships. And the fifth thing I would say is give back. Give back. It's so important to give back. And so giving back, it doesn't have to be a big thing. You don't have to start a not-for-profit. I started like 3, but you don't have to do that. You can give back by volunteering at the school to help in the classroom, or put on an event at school. You can volunteer at church. You can get involved in politics. Now I think people more than ever realize the consequence of voting and the consequence of not voting. We're in this situation today in part because people have not voted. It really is disgraceful, the turnout here in America for voting. Now, there are reasons that complicate that, like all the voting restrictions now after that Shelby County case, where within 2 hours of that decision, certain communities immediately reinstated barriers to voting. But even if that's the case in your local area, then get involved in a voting rights movement. Volunteer, do things. My parents, I think about my parents, we did walk on marches in Detroit, and my mother did take me to see Martin Luther King, and they volunteered their things to work with organizations. I mean, there's any number of ways, and I just think really extending basic kindness to people you work with or who are in a difficult situation, sharing with them the lessons you've learned, that is important, that giving back. And so those would be my big 5. Dream big, work hard, stand up, never give up, and give back. And I think when you look at leaders and people who have achieved, I think you see those 5 things are things that they have in common.